My name is Judith Rybicki, and I've been in the healing field now for a little over 20 years. And I started in community health education, and then I went into the Peace Corps. And I thought I wanted to be a medical anthropologist, and I wanted to see what it was like in a very easy way, just to be in another culture and be living with people who spoke completely different language and had completely different social and cultural practices. And I got very sick. I was sent to a woman who was a nurse, and she did reflexology and massage. I was so actually very sick, and I hurt everywhere in my body, and I was very depressed, and I was out in a little tiny town, very removed, by myself, the only American. And I found myself gravitating towards people who were very sick, because it was such a poor community that no one had the proper access to healthcare. And so I kind of made myself sick. I ran myself into the ground. And this woman helped me out so much, this nurse who did massage. And she used one of those little vibrating irons, all over your body. And then she did reflexology, and she stuck me in one of those zip-up steamers, and cooked me, and then she ironed me down a little bit more and pressed and poked, and my God, after the first treatment, I felt like a totally different person. So I said, I don't want to study people who heal. I want to be a healer. 5-element medicine is just using the elements that exist in nature, looking at the body and seeing how the 5 elements exist within the body. And I just felt this is the wise medicine. This is the wise way to feel, look at and treat the body. It's the most logical, rational way to heal if we bring ourselves, the 5 elements, back into balance. So I had already been studying with Dr. Vasant Lad, who is a famous Ayurvedic practitioner, physician. He and Dr. Joshi, Sunil Joshi, who is also an Ayurvedic practitioner. So then, but I needed a tool, and I felt as though Chinese medicine was the practical tool that I could use to, have an instrument to treat people and see very good, quick results. I went to school, I went to Chinese medical school, and it was a 3-year master's program, and discovered that Chinese medicine is really amazing medicine. It's been around for about 5,000 years. There is so much empirical data that proves that this 5-element stuff really does work. And looking at the body in terms of yin and yang, and bringing those yin and yang elements back into balance is really a way, the most vital way to harmonize and balance the body-mind. It was quite an intense time going to school. I was working all day at my shop, and then I would go to school at night, and then I've since then studied body talk, and it's completely changed my life. And but that's not what I'm going to talk about today, even though it's very hard for me to talk about Chinese medicine or healing without using body talk, because body talk is consciousness-based medicine, and that's where everything begins. Our consciousness, our thoughts, our belief systems, and then it trickles down into how we feel, our emotions, and then into the physical body, into the elemental body, and then the physical body. And so I like always to use that first before I treat people with acupuncture, because it really is a guide to show me where to go. And it's a way that you can use this medicine for your own spiritual growth. And most of you do yoga, all of you do yoga. So you know that the body is very connected with your thoughts and very connected with the resulting emotions and, really the monkey mind. So as we do yoga, we feel the body and its restrictions. And those restrictions are what we treat with acupuncture. The restrictions and pain that you feel in your body are all in the channels. So if you have tendonitis, if you feel pain, you have maybe 2 or 3 meridians where that pain is crossing. So this is usually the motivating factor for people coming in to get acupuncture. Pain. You can't stand the pain, you want to resolve the pain, and it's very local. My elbow hurts. Last night I was working with this young man. His biggest fear was he was going to have another injury. His shoulders hurt because he injured both shoulders. His knees hurt because he injured both knees. Sprained his ankle a couple times. We worked with balancing, of course, the interconnected nature of the body. It's very interconnected. And the ankle is connected to the wrist, the elbow with the knee, the shoulders with the hip. And we feel that in our yoga practice when we're moving. We feel where the restrictions are, and we're like, how come when I do triangle pose, Trikonasana, my left hip is forward and I have such restriction on that same side, moving my shoulder back and lifting my arm up? What is this relationship? And what is this relationship when my hip is really tight within and my pectoralis muscle does not want to move backward, and maybe my upper trapezius is really tight and my rhomboids as well, and I'm not able to, kind of lift and spread in that, parallel way. So there are these relationships. Within those, there are the front side of the body is the yin side. The inner part of the body is the yin side of the body. And for each channel that moves on the inside, there are channels that move on the outside of the body and connect in the internal organs. So in acupuncture, we work with meridians and channels. And the origin are the organs, the organ systems. And each organ is either a yin organ or a yang organ. So the points that we zero into that are points of restriction often, of course, are the joints, and these are really vital areas. These areas around the joints, right? They mean something in the whole line of the meridian that goes into that organ. For instance, the very inner channel that goes, if everybody can just press on their knee right here, just below the knee joint, there's like a well. This is a Jing well point. This is a water point. And you can feel little noogies. Just take alongside of your tibia. You can go in, there's a curve right underneath your knee. Okay, on the inside of your knee. Right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like a lumpy area? Are there lumps there for you? Now you're above the knee, Jonathan. Go below your knee. Right here. Yes. Yeah. Right in there. Against the bone. Go a little forward. Yeah. And up. Okay. Most people have a little bit accumulation there. So the intention with acupuncture is to move that accumulation. This is excess. And then we work with deficiencies also. There's probably a point on the same channel. This is a spleen channel. The spleen resolves mucus and stuff, phlegm in the body. The stomach and the spleen. There's probably another point that's you can depress into. That's deficiency. So there's an excess point and a deficient point. And this is true for, as you get to be older, for most of the channels. There's points that are excess and points that are deficient. And that's the intention that I have in mind when I'm actually putting the needle in those spots, those points. Am I tonifying the excess? Am I relieving the excess? Or am I tonifying the deficiency? And this working with, and we always want to work with the yin and the yang pair. So the liver and gallbladder are connected, the stomach and the spleen are connected. And you don't have to remember any of this that I'm telling you, because this is all just basic introduction. But I wanted to give you that much information because it is really fascinating. Normally the hesitation or the fear of getting acupuncture is the needle itself. Most people, they cringe. Oh, needle! Oh, I don't like needles. Why would I even volunteer to put a needle in me? What I tell people is, in general, the needles don't hurt when you put them in. Sometimes you'll feel the needle going in. I'd like to pass around a needle so you can see what a acupuncture needle looks like.
Would you get my glasses?
And the needles come in different gauges. Take a hold of it by the tail. Yeah.
Pass it on.
Yeah, just pass them like that. And so it's very thin.
Very, very fine.
And when you put the needle in, things move away. So the flesh moves away, your capillaries will move away. Sometimes you'll nick a little capillary and there'll be a little bit of blood. If that's the case, I always say, oh, well, that just needed to happen. We needed to do a little bloodletting there. Oftentimes, when you do auricular therapy, ear acupuncture, there will be blood. That is very good. Very, very good. When you do auricular therapy is wonderful. It's a very deep way to treat the body. They have done many studies with auricular therapy for addictions. So, you take an alcohol swab. I'll do it on my own leg. And usually I do this on the back, and I have oil on the skin, and then I'll take this, it's gonna suck up. So that is cupping. And when there's oil on the skin, you move it around, and it moves to deeper stagnation. Actually, there's no mistake that I did this. I really need this cupping right here.
So what did you feel, like a release of tension?
Oh yes, phenomenal. Yes, phenomenal. Release of tension.